Hello and welcome. It's Phil Jacobus again here at Healthcare Business News. And today I have the unique privilege of being joined by Mike Cannavo, who is an expert on PACS and has been for the last 30 years. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me, Phil. Appreciate it.
So, Mike, we were talking a few minutes ago. Tell me, how long have you been in the business exactly, and what's your background?
I started in the mid-'80s with a small company developing a teleradiology product. Then I moved over to work on a PACS project with AT&T Bell Labs that was then marketed by Philips. Worked with Philips for a while, and then I went on my own. And since 1988, with two small exceptions, a short time with McKesson and a shorter time with IBM Merge, I've been on my own as an independent consultant ever since.
All right. Now, I know that you've analyzed probably many different PACS systems, and we all know, and there's nothing wrong, I'm not being judgmental here, but all manufacturers feel that their system is best. What do you see as the biggest challenge that users face when selecting a PACS system?
Well, if you lined up every PACS system side by side, they all pretty much do the same basic thing. A few have additional, benefits. Maybe an orthopedic package or a mammal package is different. What differs is you've got to look closely at the workflow of the particular operation of the facility. How the technologist, from the time the patient checks in to the time the patient checks out to the time the report is actually signed and sent over to the primary care physician, that differs from site to site. And the clinical systems they use differ. So you have to optimize the different clinical systems to match the workflow of the facilities.
I know that one of your expressions is peak performance. So I take it you look at different PACS systems and you're able to recommend which. Is this something you do? You look at a PACS system and recommend based on the workflow of the facility, which is the best PACS system?
Again, it's not a question of which is the best PACS system, is which is the PACS that best meets their requirements. So what we do is we look at how the operation is. We look at the workflow extensively. We look at the future needs, where they want to go with it, and then sit back and try to match a particular vendor with the facility if they're looking for a new vendor. A lot of facilities right now are just looking to maximize or optimize the performance of the existing PACS. So then what we do is we look at the software that they currently have installed, features and benefits of updated software, because a lot of the facilities are at least 2, sometimes 3 versions behind. So if they upgrade to the latest version of software, what they're going to gain, what they're going to lose, and things of that sort. And then how we can improve not just the performance of the PACS, but improve the overall operation of the facility, including marketing. And one of the things that's being promoted very heavily right now is what's known as image sharing. And that's instead of burning a CD and sending it over with the patient, sending the images electronically over to the primary care physician's PC so they can have it at their facility. So,
how often do you find that your clients, the people that you help, are not familiar with all of the features available within their PACS system?
I'd like to say 100%, to be honest with you. One of the challenges, I guess, that we run into is sort of like buying a car. Once you're given the key, everybody claps you out and says, congratulations, here's your car. Nobody bothers to read the manual and see all the features and functions that the car can do. So you might go 2 or 3 years and find out that there's something the car does you never knew happened. Same thing with PACS. Once the initial training is done, there's rarely, if ever, any follow-up training. The new features and benefits of the system are not promoted properly to the end user. so they don't know the advantages and benefits that could be coming their way.
How do you identify which features the client is not familiar with?
The first thing you do is you go in and what I do is I look at a comparison. This is the version of the software that you have today. This is the version of the software that is the current release, and these are the differences between the two. And then a lot of times we go to the radiologist and say, well, doctor, if you had A, B, C, and D, would this help you in terms of a workflow? And let them decide, would it improve the workflow? The one thing that they also have to recognize, though, is every time you get a new feature, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose an existing feature. So you have to make sure that the existing feature that you're going to lose isn't one that's going to cause a negative to the operation of the site.
Right. And that's something that's also part of how you help people.
Absolutely. Yeah. My role as a consultant is not to make decisions. My role is to give them the information the client needs to make informed, objective decisions on their own. I present it out, I lay it out there. These are the pros, these are the cons. If they ask me, what would you do? My answer is simply, well, based on the information that's in front of you, this looks like the better direction to go at this point in time. But we never make decisions for a client. And unfortunately, I see that in our industry a lot, especially with the big box houses, the big box consultants. They will sit and tell a client you need to choose vendor A or choose vendor B, or they're a better choice. We don't do that, or I don't do that because it's just me.
Tell me, how's the virus impacting? You're in Orlando. What are things like in Florida right now?
Well, Florida is one of those 3 or 4 states where the numbers just keep climbing. So, what's happening is the number of deaths, even though the number of positive cases is increasing, the number of deaths is staying pretty stable. From a personal business standpoint, once the pandemic was announced, almost every part of the business that we had was put on hold because a lot of facilities had no idea how many beds they were going to need, things of that sort. Now it's settled down a little bit, but there's still a lot of question, and should we spend any more money in this direction or spend any more money in that direction? So it's taken a toll in terms of the business, but I'm sure it's going to be coming back soon.
Yeah. And are the PACS companies continuing to innovate and come up with new things?
PACS companies are always trying to. Go ahead, Phil.
And as a follow-on to that, are there more things that the PACS companies can do?
Wow. PACS companies always try to innovate because you have to innovate or die. There's a lot of things. One of the big discussion points now is going to be the role of artificial intelligence, or AI, what it's going to play, how it's going to work out, how it's going to impact the radiologist, things of that sort. That's not necessarily the PACS companies doing it. There's over 120 independent companies out there developing AI algorithms that can be interfaced or integrated in with the PACS systems. So that's part of what's going to happen in the future. Right now, it's keeping the systems running. The whole COVID solution, any PACS company that says we're doing great through the COVID-19 solution lies about other things too. I mean, I've talked to every one of the major manufacturers, and all of them are struggling just to keep their people because sales are off, sales are down, and that's to be expected. Just like in my business, it's to be expected. So you just have to work with the client and keep in front of them as much as you can, and try and innovate.
And when you think about PACS, HIS, RIS, EMR, what platform do you think are they all equal, or is there one that it's the foundation for all the others?
That's wow. I gotta sit here and think about how to be politically correct. That's sort of like a single guy saying all women are equal. Well, in theory, their DNA and their genetics are the same, But as you can tell, I mean, there's lots of differences between everyone. There's lots of differences between the system. Um, some are more innovative than others. You know, the challenges we're running into is companies being bought and sold. For example, I'll use it, and I'm not picking on the company, but just as an example, Carestream being bought by Philips. The Philips customers that have used the existing platform now, which is a totally different platform than most others, have to be concerned, is Philips going to continue to support my existing platform, or are they going to move over to Carestream? Again, one example, not picking on Philips because they're an excellent company, but those things. Anytime you have mergers and acquisitions, people have to look at, is what I bought before going to continue to be supported, or do I have to buy new? That's a big decision. A lot of these PAC systems aren't cheap.
Yes. Well, it's an honor to speak with you because you have so much knowledge and information and such a great perspective. I want to thank you very much for joining us, and I hope that you'll come back again and after the pandemic and tell us where you think things are headed.